Hey everyone, it's Karen with Yes Please Paper Crafts, and this video is for the Let's Get Organized YouTube Hop for Paper Crafters, where each month we share our tips and ideas on how to store and organize different items in our craft rooms. So y'all be sure and go check out everyone else that is participating in this month's hop, and I'll have links to their videos in the description below. Okay, so for this month I wanted to talk a little bit about cardstock storage and organization. And that was because I recently changed the way that I was storing and organizing my cardstock. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to share that with you guys. So I used to store my cardstock in rolling carts underneath one of my tables. And that worked really well in my craft room that I had in my last house. But I moved 2 years ago and I found that that storage solution did not work as well in my new craft room. And those little rolling carts rolled around in my room for 2 years before I finally gave up on trying to fit those in and decided to change the way that I store my cardstock. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the new storage that I have, and also talk a little bit about organizing the cardstock and how you can organize your cardstock by color, even though you might have cardstock from many different manufacturers. And because I buy my cardstock from lots of different places, I really admire those people that have one company that they stick with, and they have cardstock from that one company because it's so pretty when they display that. It's very organized. But unfortunately for me, I have cardstock from everywhere. And I really struggle with trying to sort that by color. And so I want to talk a little bit in this video about that as well, and give y'all some tips on how you can better organize your cardstock by color if it's just, you know, comes from everywhere. Okay, so I want to start off by showing you guys an overview of my craft room and where I have that cardstock stored, and then we'll come back and I'll talk a little bit more about my storage that I'm using, as well as give you some tips on how you can organize your cardstock by color. Okay, so here we are in my craft room, and I have made quite a few changes over the past 6 months or so since I did my craft room tour last year. And I added this 2x2 calyx unit with the drawers right there in front of my craft island. And my craft island is right across from where my workspace is, over there on the left-hand side of my room. And that's where I create all my videos, and I also work on projects. And so as I was thinking about where I wanted to store my cardstock in this room, I decided that I wanted it to be close by. And so I decided to put it into the island there. But then after I thought, well, I'm going to move all of this other stuff, where am I going to put that? So I did add some 1x4 calyx units over here to this side of the room, and they are on casters, and so they can be moved around. Because a lot of the stuff that I moved from my island was stuff that I wanted to have close by when I was working. And so this was my solution that I came up with to do that, to have this stuff be able to be on wheels, to be able to roll it over to my workstation when I wanted to work on different projects. And I'm going to have a video that I'll post on my channel coming up soon, where I talk a little bit more about these calyx units on wheels, and also this one here that I created with the drawers. So look forward to those videos. I'll go into a little bit more detail about how I did that, and how I created those, and how I'm planning to use those going forward in my craft room. Okay, so here's a closer up view of my workspace, and I have this 4-foot table, and then I have a corner table, and then another 4-foot table over here. So it creates this really nice L-shaped workspace. And I did move my 3 calyx units with the 6 drawers underneath these tables. And in order to do that, I did have to take the casters off of these calyx drawer units, because these tables have an apron, and with the casters on, they don't fit under the table. So anyway, I'm showing y'all this because I used to have my cardstock stored underneath these tables. But because I put these calyx drawers there, then that cardstock had to go, and it has to be moved somewhere else. Okay, so now let's go ahead and swing over here. Here is my island, and this is where I have my cardstock now. This is a 2x4 calyx unit, and I have the entire bottom part of this calyx unit with my cardstock. So I'm storing the cardstock vertically, and so to do that, I decided to pick up some of the 4-shelf inserts for the 𝐂𝐥𝐦𝐢𝐥𝐢, and these inserts are really awesome. You can use them as shelves, but I have them turned on the side, and I'm using them as dividers. The only big drawback I see to this insert is that you do lose a little bit of space in your cube, because you do lose about 1/2 inch from the height and probably a couple inches from the width. But it does add a lot of support to the paper, and you can see here that I have no bending at all, so that's really awesome. Okay, so then after I put all of my cardstock in there, I realized that I was going to have a bit of a problem, because you can't really fit your fingers in here to the top because you lost the space. And it makes it really hard, especially if the paper goes back a little ways, to be able to grab the things out. So I was struggling once I got it in there to be able to get it out. So I went over to Amazon. I was looking to see what I could find, and that's where I picked up those paper organizers. And the really awesome thing about them is that they have the tabs on the side. And because they have these tabs, you can use this as a handle to pull these in and out, which is really awesome. So without that, I don't think this would have been a good storage solution. But because I did add in these organizers, paper organizers, I just think that's really awesome. And then the other thing is that now I can just pull this whole organizer off the shelf and look through the paper and pick a paper that I like, and then just put it back. And so I think this is going to work out really well. So this is the storage organizer that I'm using to store my cardstock. It's the 𝐏𝐫𝐲 Scrapbook Paper Storage Organizer, and I picked this up from Amazon. And this one has the tab at the top, and it also has a gusset. So when you open this up, you can fit a lot of paper in here. And on the listing on Amazon, it says it fits about 100 sheets of paper. And it really is a nice pocket. It's really heavy plastic. You can see here that when you put your paper in there, it holds its shape. And you can see on the bottom, it's completely flat down there. A lot of times I don't like things with gussets because it makes the, kind of tends to bend your corners. But this pocket, the way that it's constructed, it's really well made, and where it sits at the bottom, it's very flat. And so I think that's going to work out really well for my cardstock storage. Now, as I was looking on Amazon at the different storage organizers, I came across this one, which is also the 𝐏𝐫𝐲 Scrapbook Paper Storage Organizer. And at first I was a little bit confused because it looks like almost the same exact product. But this one it doesn't have the tab at the top, and it has a cutout here that kind of comes down. And then the other thing is it doesn't have the gusset. So this one, it says you can store about 60 sheets of paper. And as I was looking at the dimensions of these two storage organizers, this one here is actually larger. So even though you can fit less paper, it's a larger pocket. And so I wasn't really sure that that would fit into the 𝐂𝐥𝐦𝐢𝐥𝐢 with the 4-shelf insert, and it doesn't. It's too big. So I'm really happy that this one's smaller and it worked out. And also the tab on it is just perfect. And so I'm really happy I was able to find this one because it fits perfectly into the 𝐂𝐥𝐦𝐢𝐥𝐻 with the dividers with that 4-shelf insert. Now I did purchase both of these with the thought that I would just keep whichever one worked the best and send the other back to Amazon. But after I got these, I realized that this one is really awesome for collection. So I think I'm going to go ahead and keep it. And I believe that this was, I can't remember how many. It might have had 40. I think there's different quantities. You can buy different quantities of these, and they're different prices. I'll put the listing to where you can find this on Amazon. But the pricing for this is, this one's about $1 a piece when you price it out. And then this one is about half that. It's about 50 cents a piece. And so I think that both of these organizers have a place in my craft room. And so I'm going to keep both of them. So I love this one here for just storing paper or storing scrapbook collections. I think there's a lot of uses for this as well. So these storage organizers with the tabs also do come with labels, and they're in these colors. It's like a blue, pink, and yellow. So if you wanted to put labels on here, it does come with the labels. I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to label those yet. And then for these other storage organizer, it comes with these really cool tabs. And these are stickers. So you can take this sticker off and stick it on the side here, and then use that to label the contents of what's in here. So I thought that was really cool that not only do you get this pocket, but you also get these little stickers, and they are removable. So that's super cool. The only thing I wish is that these were a little bit longer, because this looks like it's probably maybe 1.5 inches, so it's pretty small. But still, it's nice that they gave you these additional stickers that you can use to help you with organizing whatever you put into these pockets. So I have all of my cardstock stored by color, but it's from all different manufacturers, so it can be overwhelming and a bit of a challenge to try to figure out where each piece of cardstock should go and which color family it should belong. And so I wanted to give you guys a few tips on how you can try to organize your cardstock by color. And these tips actually would apply to anything that you have in your craft room that you are organizing by color. Okay, so I think the first thing that we need to do is to figure out what colors we want to organize all of our supplies by. And so I have here all of my color families that I use. And I'll put this in the description of this video if you want to copy what I did. And how I decided on what the color family should be is I used a color wheel. And this is a very simple color wheel that I actually just pulled off of the 𝐿𝐴𝐸 website. They just had, I thought it was a really good representation of all the different colors. And so I just went ahead and named all of my color families according to this color wheel. So I think that if you have a tool like this, if you have a color wheel, or you just take a picture of one off the internet and print it out, this will help you to try to figure out where each piece of paper belongs as you're going through and sorting through the paper and trying to figure out what color family it belongs to. Okay, so we can just take our stack of paper here, and this is all paper that I have that's, I think are colors that are red. And so what we can do is just take each piece of paper, put it up against this color wheel, and figure out which color this is closest to. So I did add some additional colors to my color families. I added in pink because I do have a lot of pink paper and I want to have it separate from my red paper. And then I also added the neutrals: white, gray, black, brown, and tan. So you don't have to just go strictly by what's on the color wheel. You can go by the color wheel, and then you can also add in additional colors here. So for example, if we take this first piece of paper and we put it on our color wheel, it's obviously a red paper. And on here, it kind of sits between the red and the maroon. So if you wanted to just have one category called red, you could put the red and the maroon paper together in the same organizer. But if you wanted to separate this out, you could have a light red paper and a dark red paper, or you could call it red and maroon. So you could add another color over here called maroon. It just depends on how many different colors you want to use in your organization. And you could start out though by just organizing all your paper by the main color families. And then once you get all the paper organized by the color families, then you go to those piles of paper, and then you can divide it further if you think that you have too much of that paper. So I already know that I have tons of red and pink paper. So I'm definitely going to have two different categories here, two different color families. So that's why I went ahead and added the pink. So it really also, I think, depends on how much paper you have of each color family, whether or not you want to break it down further. Okay, but see how easy this is. If we just do this, here's red, and then here again, it's red, and you can just keep going. Now, if we get a paper, this paper here is green, but on the other side, it's red. But here, this could be, it's also maroon, so we can put that there, and you can just keep going. So let me get a couple other papers here, just so we can have some different colors, because those are all, a lot of those are the same color. And this is actually pink, but I think some of this could go into the orange category. And under orange, you could, or the red-orange category, you could have peach as a color, as one of your color families. So this paper here, if we look at it, it really doesn't look like it goes with the red. It looks more like it's a red-orange, and especially it's the lightest red-orange. So then we know that this one would go into the red orange. And so using a color wheel like this, I think is probably going to be the easiest way to sort paper by that's all from different manufacturers. Now, if you have paper that's from the same manufacturer, what you would do with that, I would think, is possibly just store it and label it. So what I'm planning to do, I have Creative Memory cardstock, I have Stampin' Up! Cardstock, and that coordinates with those companies. So I will probably have that separate and have each one of those papers separately in a page protector, and so that I can keep it separate and I know that that's Creative Memories or that's Stampin' Up! And you don't have to do that, but if you want to keep track of if it's a specific manufacturer and you have a whole pack of that paper, it's a 10, 20 sheets of that paper, I would say put it into a page protector, and then you can keep all that together and label it, and you'll know where that paper came from. So I am organizing my cardstock by color, but I'm using just the larger color families. And eventually I would like to break this up a little bit more and maybe add some additional dividers into these storage organizers. So if I end up with different colors in the same organizer, I can just add an additional tab and then just label it. Okay, so I hope I've given y'all some ideas for how you can store and organize your cardstock. And y'all be sure and go check out everyone else that is participating in this month's hop and see what ideas they have to share. Okay, well that's all I have for this video. Y'all take care. Hope y'all have an awesome weekend, and I hope to see you next time. Bye now.